Good morning, high school. It is May 1st. It is my wife's birthday today. We are finishing week 7 of being in quarantine, and we have one more month of empty halls. I have to try to record outside in between all the cars and barking dogs. The summer before I started high school, I went on a canoe trip with my dad, about 6 or 8 other guys and their dads. We piled our food and supplies and clothes into our canoes. We would paddle all day through lakes and rivers in upstate New York, and we'd make camp at night, and we'd get back in our canoes and paddle all day again the next day. I remember that first day of that experience being really fun. We were out on the water, we were able to jump out of our canoes and go swimming sometimes. We camped on a sandbar and ate lunch on a small little island, watching beautiful scenery in upstate New York go by, and it was a really great experience. The second day wasn't so fun. We realized we had to paddle again for another 6 hours that day. We were sore from the day before, we were getting tired, and the third day was even less fun. The excitement of being on the trip, of being on the water in our canoes, wore off pretty quickly. I remember that same experience when I first started working as an engineer, when I first started teaching, when I started taking online classes a few years ago for a grad program. I was really excited when those things started. I was really energetic. I was really excited to begin a new experience. But as that experience went on, the excitement kind of wore off. When we thought we were moving to online learning for 2 weeks, many people felt like they could handle it because there was a hope that it would be over soon. We were doing something new and different, and there was some adrenaline that came with having to deal with an unexpected situation. There was a crisis, and it felt like we had a monster to slay, a challenge that was in front of us. And so those first few weeks, we kind of ran on that energy as we moved to online schooling. When it became clear it wasn't going to be over as soon as we thought, very quickly it got a lot less fun. In small doses, interacting online can be enjoyable, but we're all getting much more than a small dose these days. I am working online and in online meetings all the time. Yesterday, it was 5 hours of online meetings over 4 different meetings. People have been staring at the quilt behind my head on my dining room wall for weeks. And getting through that one day of 5 hours is hard, but it gets harder when I think about the fact that I'll just be on Zoom again tomorrow, and the next day, and then again next week. What was a challenge, something to battle and overcome, became drudgery. A challenge for one day, on a short term, can be exciting. That same challenge day after day after day can really start to wear on you. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said that the essential thing in heaven and earth is that there should be a long obedience in the same direction. Thereby results, and always has resulted in the long run, something which has made life worth living. Nietzsche's thought there is that what makes life worth living isn't conquering those short challenges, the things that you focus on for a day or two and they're over, but that you're walking in the same direction day after day after day, being obedient to the same calling for an extended period of time. Eugene Peterson, the theologian and pastor, wrote a whole book on discipleship based on that idea. It's actually called A Long Obedience in the Same Direction. And he likened that to following Jesus. That following Jesus isn't a short-term commitment, isn't something that you can do for a few days, for a week, and say, I am done, I've got that, and then it's over. It's a daily obedience, day after day after day, doing the same thing when you're in the same situation over and over and over again. My wife just got me a Starbucks. It's not even my birthday. We like short obediences. We want to commit to doing things in short chunks that will be over quickly. We can check them off, we can give them our attention for a limited period of time, and then move on to doing something else. Things that require a long obedience are hard to keep paying attention to. Our brains want to wander and do something else. They lose their interest, they lose their excitement. That certainly sounds like the situation that I'm in right now. The monster that I was excited to slay, the challenge that I was excited to face back in mid-March is just really wearing on me. And there are days I think, can this just be over? Can I do something different? Can I be in a different place and focus on something else besides the thing that's in front of me today, has been in front of me for 6 weeks, and will be in front of me for another 4 weeks between now and the end of the school year? This is a chance for me to practice that long obedience in the same direction, to practice sticking with something and being faithful when the thing that I'm paying attention to is something that I don't want to give my attention to. But it is an opportunity for me to practice being diligent, to practice being faithful, to practice taking that next step in the same direction when the last 6 steps have taken all of my effort and all the intention I could give them to get through. Back to that canoe trip, on the second to last day, I realized that the trip was going to be over the following day. And when I thought about that, I was able to have fun again. Knowing there was an end in sight helped me to enjoy the experience I was going through. And thinking about the experience being over, I realized I wanted to enjoy being on the water with my dad while I had the chance. I wouldn't call being in quarantine fun. I wouldn't call being in a situation of online learning or online schooling fun. But remember that this too will pass. It will not last forever. The end, unfortunately, isn't as close as we'd like, but there is an end. And like I said, the first week we were in this situation, I hope that when it does end, you can look back with a sense of accomplishment, because you will have faithfully walked through this time with diligence and perseverance. Keep at it. Keep working. Don't let the monotony discourage you. We're in this together as a community, but we're also in the same spot as students and teachers and schools all around the world. We can get through this. Keep up that long obedience in the same direction. Stay safe. Stay sane. There's a car idling in my street, and I've waited for about 20 minutes for it to stop.